football.
Yeah. All right, Patrick Reusse. I was telling these guys yesterday, I am legitimately excited for Sunday night football in 6 days or 5 days. Vikings, Cowboys. We don't know anything about this Vikings team yet. We think they might be good, but then they've lost a couple games that they shouldn't have, and now we're going to find out everything against the Cowboys.
And here's the good news. I was downtown early this morning, and I saw people already drinking. So it was
nice.
Randy in Cottage Grove.
That one lot over there, kind of behind on the left of the stadium, they were already in there tailgating, ready to get ready. You can't beat night. You can't beat night games. The only thing that used to beat like a Sunday night game was a good 9:05 kickoff on Monday night when you were playing the Cowboys. I've always told you guys, being in Philadelphia for a 9:05 kickoff for a Cowboys game with Herschel then playing for the Eagles was as closest to Sodom and Gomorrah I have ever been. It was almost the fall of Western civilization. It was fantastic. I got called more filthy names for no reason except being a little overweight and carrying a computer with me. They knew I was a sports writer. Man alive, they did not like me, and they had no idea who I was. It was unbelievable.
They're bad for noon starts. So for a night game, like they are the most obnoxious, hardcore. They like when you throw full beer cans, something's wrong with you.
So now, were they in Vegas this weekend? Mm-hmm. Were the Eagles in Vegas?
Yeah.
My stepson and his family they went to Vegas, then they went to look to the Red Rocks, and then he said they were back in Vegas Sunday night, and the Eagles fans were just attempting to destroy the city.
Yes.
It was unbelievable.
For Super Bowl week, I remember when the Eagles fans came to Minneapolis 4 years ago, whatever it was, and I remember sometime during that week taking an Uber. And the Uber driver from Minnesota was he had heard so many things about these Eagles fans. He told us he had a gun and a bat beneath his seat.
Oh, my God.
Like, first of all, if you've got the gun, I don't know that you need the bat. But, like, wow.
Yeah,
dude,
the bat's gratuitous at that point.
Oh, man. It's up. But anyway, Cowboys, you know what? They have not been in a conference final since they beat Denny in Dallas, right? 95 or when was
96?
Brad Johnson was the quarterback, right? Brad Johnson was the quarterback, 95 or 6. They haven't been in a conference final, and we still talk about them like they're America's team. Now, this team looks good. I mean, they got the offensive line. Dak's playing great. They got the high-powered receivers, and they got 2 running backs. But, I mean, it's a quarter of a century since they've been in it. Is anybody in the NFC? Well, Detroit probably. Has anybody in the NFC not been in a conference final as long as them?
Detroit. Take Detroit. I mean, Chicago's been like most teams in the NFC have been to the Super Bowl. Besides the over those 25 years, besides the Cowboys, Vikings, and Lions.
Is Detroit really yet? I mean, the Yankees have been marketed. You didn't have to market the Yankees because it goes back to 1920, right? And Babe Ruth and the whole thing. Has there been any team in American sports in the last half century marketed like the Cowboys? It's
genius.
It's amazing. And they always had, they had Summerall and Brookshire, then Summerall and who was this color guy? But they always got the 3:10 kickoff too. I mean, the networks did everything they could to make them the America's team, the uniforms with the stars. It is amazing. Certainly they had a great run where they were in the playoffs all those times, but it's amazing that mystique continues for a quarter century of mediocrity, basically.
What started that, Pat?
I don't know. I think they got themselves into the Thanksgiving game. They were genius about that because it was always just Detroit. And then all of a sudden, somebody down there said, we should have a Thanksgiving game. And everybody, pretty soon, they ended up having triple the ratings the Lions had for their ratings. But, they just got good, and we were good for 15 years. And the great unis and they could build up guys like Dorsett and those guys. But I don't know, but it still goes. And then a lot of it was, hatred and jealousy of everybody else. That's part of it too. Part of their appeal is we all hate them, right? So even though they haven't done anything for 25 years, Cowboys,
By the way, I believe the list, if you go back 25 years, the list of teams in the NFC. So you said conference championship. The list
of making the game, just being in the game, right?
Yeah.
They haven't been in the game for 25 years.
Well, you're talking conference championship or Super Bowl?
Conference championship game. I don't think they've been.
So list of teams but even for Super Bowl too, like I think it's the same list, but Washington, Detroit, Minnesota, Dallas are the only 4 teams since 97 or whatever that haven't been to the Super Bowl in the NFC.
Yeah, it is. It is getting a very small list of teams that went and lost to the Patriots. But anyway, it'll be fun. It'll be a hell of a game, and it'll be jumping down there. And Cowboy fans will get in. I wonder if they travel like they used to. I don't know. But there's probably 10,000 that just live here that adopted the Cowboys sometime. Yeah, that's true. They do have that fan base all around the country. So. Yeah,
it's got to be tough keeping up though, because they got to keep tabs on Lakers games and Yankees games too. Those Cowboy fans,
right? Yeah,
it's very stressful.
So it'll be great. I'm looking forward to that, and it's and we'll see. I mean, the Vikings are going to play them without Patrick Peterson with that collection of receivers. They've been putting. I heard some stat yesterday. They've pressured the quarterback at a higher rate so far this year, the Vikings, than any team in the NFL. And they're certainly going to have to do that because you don't know about the corner. If Cameron Dantzler is what we've usually seen, there could be some fellas open 30, 40 yards down the field.
And Breland, too.
Yeah,
he's no great shakes either.
He picked off the first pass against the vaunted Panthers.
Darnold,
what do you mean?
Did you
Sam Darnold's he's one of the 50 best quarterbacks in the world, and Breland picked him up.
Well, then the world's in big trouble.
By the way, I was watching the game last night. Who was playing last night again? It was
Seattle, your hometown team.
That's right. And the Saints. Geno Smith.
How can my Saints with my guy Jameis only get 13 points when the other team makes like 8 major screw ups?
But that's the point that I was just sitting there thinking of last night. I'm like, all right, Geno Smith. So Geno Smith is probably one of the 40 best quarterbacks in the world.
You think so?
Right?
No higher.
Well, no, I'm saying like he's like 40th or 45th.
There's some guy at home who doesn't know he's good, who's better.
But that's not true. Don't you think that think about how impossible that position is to play if the 40th best quarterback in the world is hapless on Monday Night Football.
Yes, and and when the position was way less complicated than it is now, when defenses either ran a 3-4 or a 4-3, and you only put the nickel back in if it was 3rd and 22.
Yeah.
Even then, they made the guy wait 3 years to play. That's what's amazing to me about it is I'm already down on Justin Fields, and 25 years ago, he wouldn't have had to play for 3 years. They wouldn't let Andy Dalton keep playing for 3 years. And the demands they now put on young quarterbacks are unrealistic, really. I mean, the ones that can succeed in their first couple of years are a rare breed, that's for sure, because they shouldn't be playing.
If Kramer got drafted today, Patrick, he'd be expected to step in for Tark within about a year at most, right? Because he sat, and then Tarkington got hurt, but I mean, he still basically sat a lot for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, well, he did. I think he started his third. Did he start his third year?
79, right? because Tarkenton
he
retired
started in
after
79. When did they draft him? 77? Yeah, so he had to wait less time than the other guys.
Yeah, but I mean, he still sat.
I got to look up that. I still got to look up that when Fran. We got to be getting to about the time of year. I told you guys about this when Fran, his last year, as he was on the way to throwing 32 interceptions, sat down and talked about how he got booed a couple of times at Met Stadium, and then they wanted Tommy to play, and he sat down and they did a media session on they just don't respect old wily, wonderful old veterans in this town like they do in other towns. He wanted a free pass for throwing 32 interceptions back then. But it is funny that they stuck with him because they wouldn't, even though he was terrible, they wouldn't bench him even then his last year or so because of what he'd done for him.
Man, what do you think? Like Tom Brady's 44 and he's probably he might break the all-time. He has an extra game to do it, but he might break the all-time touchdown record this year. What do you think these guys like Steve? I saw Steve Young on the pregame show last night for a few minutes, just sort of lamenting, he can play at least 50. No one can touch him. And these quarterbacks that wind up on the NFL films, like these getting knocked out by Deacon Jones, or like Steve Young and Troy Aikman were vegetables by the end of their careers, just unconscious on the field, right? Like, what do they think watching Tom Brady back there?
We don't make that point often enough that the fact, one reason you can play longer is they don't let people come in and hit you right here with their helmets and knock you out.
Or just spear you.
Yes, in the back. Yeah.
Two beats after you throw the ball and some guy, comes in.
It used to drive him crazy. It used to drive Bud Grant crazy how many times Bradshaw got carried off the field on the stretcher and then came back in the second half. But I would imagine he had 15 concussions as often as he got carried off the field and then came back. By the way,
everyone's convulsed on the field, Patrick. He was in convulsions and they were showing it on TV and we were like, oh man, he's having convulsions.
Yeah, right. Boy,
I think
get him some smelling salts.
Yes. Exactly. Here comes Zambi out. Zambi comes out. Hey kid, you okay? Looks like a fish on the field.
How many fingers am I holding up? If you're within 2, we'll put you back in the game.
My favorite story about the old trainers, the old trainers they used to have. I mean, Wayne Hadaway was with the Twins minor leagues, was the equipment manager / trainer. Now, we've all met Wayne. We wouldn't let Wayne go to McDonald's to get our hamburgers. And he was their trainer. But my favorite is Stan Whalet, the original North Stars trainer. Judd, you remember him?
No.
Stan was 3 bills if he was an ounce, right? He was a big man. And he always told the story about how Freddie Barrett ran into the post.
Yep.
And broke his leg.
Yep.
Except Tom Reed always says what actually happened is Stan was looking over him and he had this injured leg. And when Stan pushed up off the ice, he kneeled on the leg and you could hear him crack.
Oh, God. Oh.
I didn't know. You didn't tell me that.
Reed always said that Whalet basically had to get up off the ice like this and he crack.
Oh, my God.
There was probably a nice little stress fracture in there, but it ended up basically ruined Barrett's career for about 2 years. Yeah.
Oh.
Those were the trainers back then. It's unbelievable. And now, we have 3 full-timers and assistants. And it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing the care we gave to athletes, isn't it? As you say, concussions. Oh, man, geez.
You're right, smelling salts.
You got any of that whiffy stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. That and what was the thing?
Drooling here. Can somebody wipe that drool off?
Hey, Pat, what was the thing that they used to use in baseball if you got hit by a pitch? Ethyl chloride? They would just come out and freeze it. And then you just continue playing.
If you got hit right here, and then the bone was up. Spray a little of that stuff on her.
They bring it out and just spray you, and then you'd be like, "Hey, you're fine, kid. Go back in."
Oh my
Calvin's
God.
greatest ever. Steve Bry spent a month on the active list with a broken thumb and a cast on his hand. He can use it. He can pitch run.
He's fine.
Yeah. Wasn't gonna pay another guy all that meal money. God, they must have been getting $12 a day for that.
Pat, before we say goodbye, Eddie Rosario, your thoughts going into the World Series here?
I'm loving it, man. I say that Eddie, we've seen the hot streaks, but he is in the strike zone better than he's ever been in his life in this series, don't you think?
Yeah.
That pitch on the outside corner, he's not losing his balance and, flopping around. And I talked about Cavage, and one thing that he was saying about it, he's right. He's hanging with lefties too. He used to get jumpy with lefties, and right now he is so zeroed in or so whatever. He's hanging with lefties too. A couple of the screaming liners he hit were off left-handers. So he's always had those hot streaks, but never one that seemed to come with the level of concentration this one does. It usually was just this great talent, and they've told us for 100 years about, okay, I'm seeing the ball better now. And, those of us who, never had to hit a baseball over 76 miles an hour really have a hard time understanding what that means, but it's obviously true. So when he was seeing the baseball, he'd get hot, but there's something different about this. The level of concentration is incredible, and glad to see it. Maybe he'll get a contract out of the deal, although with this offseason, I don't know if anybody's going to get any contract. So
yeah,
anyway,
no, it's fun to watch.
But
hey,
I like the series. I like easy to root for Dusty, and I'd never have vilified the Astros like other people do, and because Eddie's on the other team, I can root for the Braves too. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat. I want Dusty Baker to get a World Series, and I want that more than I want like the Astros to. I mean, it's been 4 years, whatever. if they've got a new system, congratulations, they've figured it out.
The Astros should have thrown out the first ball at Game 3, or no, They're home tonight, right? Game 1. Yeah. Dusty's kid, the one that damn near got killed.
Darren?
Yeah.
JT Snow saved that kid's life.
Yes.
He would have gotten steamrolled at home plate.
Kid come out, and now let us all see what he looks like.
That's a great idea.
He's a player, I think. Did he get drafted or signed or something?
Yes, he played in college, too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen.
All right, Pat. That is
Reusse.
Patrick Reusse from Reusse Unchained, Star Tribune, every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday here on Mackey and Judd and the SKOR North YouTube channel.